You are now listening to the I Think I Love My Wife podcast. And this is your best friend's best friend, Chidozie Okafor, ready to take you on another journey. Are you with me? Because I'm ready. Let's get it. In this episode 5 of our bonus 10-part mini-series, we discuss having trust in a relationship. We talk about the value of companionship. We get a little bit deeper in the woes of dating in light of all of the dating apps. We also discuss the illusion of interest and what that means. And I get prodded and probed into what I'm actually looking for in my future wife.
Yeah, and I think that when we talk about relationships and trust, nobody is being that specific, right? No one's saying like, oh, I don't know if I trust your judgment, but I absolutely agree that that's what it is. It's like, I don't have enough data points to know how you would handle X situation. And it's not that I don't trust you or trust your goodness and character or whatever, but it's like, you know, if
when
we
you're feeding the fire, we show our true characters.
yeah, exactly. So that's a really good point. I want to hear more about your dating life. You've alluded to the fact that you're dating now.
I'm back in these streets. Man, I'm really like, you know, I remember when I was young and like it was fun to date. Like it was just
Wait, so
fun.
what are you now?
I'm not as young.
Oh, okay. Got you.
I'm 33. I'm like when you were 24, like 25, it was just fun. You know, like,
yeah.
And maybe you weren't thinking about things in the context of the future as much. And it's like, it was just fun. But now it's just like, I'm so ready to be washed. I'm just so ready to like have a wife and have kids and like not feel compelled to go nowhere and just know like my world is right here in my house. and I have like a weekend or two where I go kick it with my friends and then come back to my world.
Yeah.
Like, I'm ready for that.
Why are you ready for that though?
What else am I trying to do out here? Like, like I don't experience not everything, but like I done all those other things, and like at least being washed, you get like a level of fulfillment, and like I would say like out of my last relationship, one of the things that like I missed the most, that I probably wouldn't have said this like before that relationship is like a level of companionship, right?
Yeah.
And like knowing like it doesn't even matter what's going on. Like, and I used to hate, I'll give you an example. I used to hate going to the grocery store with my girlfriend or my ex-girlfriend. And she was
now
like,
you like it.
Not that I don't like it. Not that I like it now, but I'm like trying to be efficient, right? Like, let's be efficient. And so it's like, okay, what are we going to eat? Okay, what's the grocery list? Okay, I can go pick it up or you can go pick it up. And she's like, oh, we can go home and then we can go together. And I'm like, why? Like, I can go or you can go. Why are both of us using our time to go? And mind you, I had a different job. I was working crazy hours, so I had a different job. But now, like, I go by myself. I'm like, it's just fun talking to people while you're there about just random stuff, you know? And you miss that stuff that, like, I don't think guys value that as much until they're in it. Just to know, like, when I think back about my last relationship, because, like, we were, like, it got very, very serious. Like, we lived together and all those things. Like, I missed that companionship that I had. Like, regardless of what was going on, I had a person, right? Mm-hmm. And I think experiencing, like, death in my family recently and stuff like that, and that person not having companionship or someone there for them, I'm like, shit. Like, this is tough. Like, if you don't have, like, that's when you realize the death do us part. Like, people say it, and I think they have an idea of what it means. But when you're and this is about to get morbid, but like when you're watching someone like sick and like you can't do nothing but be there for them and like that's all you do, that's love. Like your friend, you know, stop by, hey, let me show you love, da-da-da-da. Stop by for an hour once a week, check up on you, send you some stuff. But like sitting there day in and day out, that's love, right? And you have to really love someone to be doing that for someone. And I miss that level of companionship, and I'd rather have that than be out here in these streets like playing, like, I don't know. It's just weird out here in this whole I'm new to it now because it's been a few years, but it's weird.
Yeah, I mean, I could imagine. Are you on dating apps?
Yeah, man, they're just like, they're whatever.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, I've never been on a dating app, but
But you're dating someone now, so you don't need to be on.
yeah, but when I was like openly dating other people in the beginning,
Gotcha. When you was
you
in the
said you
streets.
encouraged that, okay?
Yeah, no, no. You might be. I don't know how serious this you and this person is. You might be still dating other people too.
Yeah.
But
No, but
yeah,
I'm not on dating apps. I've never tried them, but it just seems to your point around like microwaving things quickly, it's like people are just trying to get to the most efficient they're trying to find the most efficient route to uh quote unquote being washed. And
yeah.
it's like not really that effective. I don't know. Maybe you can speak to it, but it seems like you haven't had like great luck
I
yet.
mean, yeah, I mean, I think it just depends. Like there are people that are on it just to like have fun,
Right.
and that's what it is. I think for me, because of like I'm just not out like that in these streets, like just going. I don't feel. I'm a person like I set up my house to look in a certain way, to feel a certain way. So I like being at my house and being home. So I don't feel compelled to go out just because like there's nothing to do. I will find a good time at home or invite some
Right.
people over. And so for me, because I just like don't feel obligated to go out often, it's like you only see so many people. And so the dating apps opens the aperture up to who else like lives nearby you to see who there could be
That's true.
potential. I think
Yeah.
the issue that I have is like, okay, one, you don't control who you match with and when you match with them. So like, you could be swiping, and then like within a week, you match with four people. You might have swiped them like a month ago, and so now you got multiple people that you're trying to get to know, which is not the problem. But I think women tend to have an expectation of what that dynamic looks like of interacting with them, and and I ask my female friends, okay, how many conversations do you like have before you expect the guy to ask you for your phone number? Because you see women, I'm not trying to have a pen pal and yada yada yada, or like how long from when you match do you expect the guy to ask you out? And it's like I get what they're trying to say, but in my head I'm like, are you really wasting time from just communicating with someone? Like, because like if I match with three people in a week, one, that's expensive if I took all of them out, to be honest.
Yeah.
And two, I don't know that I want to take them out. We just happen to match. And so if I'm low key, like really trying to get to know you via conversation, yeah, someone can say, yeah, why don't you just take us out? Well, you're not paying for it. So, if you were paying for it, I'm sure you wouldn't be like in a rush to take people out either. And so, and not about like being cheap. It's just not like if you're fiscally responsible and like you got other goals outside of dating, like it's just, you can spend easily $500 a month on going on dates. I mean, a week
Yeah.
going on dates. And like, I'm not like, my budget don't work that way. And so, I just think it's tough trying to navigate what the expectation is versus like what I want to do that feels organic to me. Because every relationship that I've been in since business school, like I've jumped into it when I said I was going to be in it with the mindset that I might marry this person. And I think as we get older, especially for guys, it's like, okay, like the next person you date or that you're going to be in a relationship with, like probably has like a high upside that you feel confident enough that like we're trying to test this out to see if we're going to get like can make it to the next level. And that takes time. So like the next person you date is probably going to take a year or two of my life as you're getting older.
Yeah.
Right. And so like, I don't play in that space to rush that, because when I make the decision, I'm like heavily invested. Like I'm not in or I'm all in. And so that's where I struggle with, because I might match with someone and I'm low key like just chatting it up, just trying to get to know them, see if I'm interested enough to like go out. But I can understand how on the flip side, a woman's like, he hasn't asked me out yet. He's playing, or he's trying to be a pen pal. And I'm like, it's only been 3 weeks. Like, relax. Like, I don't know. I'm busy too.
Yeah. So, I mean, I understand wanting to really get to know someone and like from your point of view, really want to get to know someone and it not being like pressure to like go out or whatever. And from a woman's standpoint of like, what are we not what are we
doing? Yeah, say the question. Yeah, what are we doing? That's what you. It's just so innate that you were about to say without even thinking about it. What are we doing?
It's crazy. It's crazy. Or what's up with this? Or what is the intention? Maybe, and that makes me wonder. That makes me wonder what your like dating rules or boundaries are, because obviously you have like a perspective on like getting to know someone and what that sort of journey looks like, but you're also not like spending $500 a week just to like get to know people. So like what is the balance for you?
I mean, I feel like I'm a guy, and so like my balance, I may have like a boundaries, but like it's all dictated on like we may not even get to my boundary because we're kind of living in the woman's world. I think when you're dating, generally speaking, the beginnings, you're kind of like at the whim of what that woman prefers, whether it's positive or negative. But like I'm not going to be pressured into like spending time with someone that I don't feel like I want to spend time with. Because this is the way I think about it, right? And I've been trying to figure out the best way to articulate it. I think most guys, sensible guys, know the things that they should be doing to keep a woman's attention if she's like remotely interested, right? Mm-hmm. And so I think you can do that, and like you could then, at the end of 6 weeks or whatever, you now find yourself in a situation where you have a woman that's interested in you. And in that 6 weeks, you may not know if you're interested yet. So you've sped up a process where now you're going to come to like a decision point where you may not be feeling the way you want to feel or know how you feel about the person yet. And the issue is like, if you know you don't feel that way, why do things from an action standpoint that demonstrate that? Right?
Yeah.
But if you don't do those things, then she's like, you're not interested. And so we oftentimes give ourselves, like guys give the illusion that we're more interested than we are because we know you got to pay to play. And Joe Blow is doing whatever, regardless of his intentions, he's doing those things, and it's a relative game. You met me, you met Peter. Peter hit me up 7 times. You hit me up 3. Peter likes me more, and we both like you the same level, or we don't know. And so that's like the space that I'm in now, because I know when I wasn't necessarily looking at the future of the relationship and I was just in the moment and trying to, just have fun with it. I was doing the things that I knew because I knew there was something I wanted out of it. So I was like, okay, I'm going to do these things because I'm trying to get this out of it. Now that I don't care about that immediate return and I'm more like, where is this going to lead? I'm like, not pressure to do the things that I know would probably make you smile or I know that you have a positive reaction to, because I'm legit just trying to figure out who you are before I go start doing those things, because the immediate return is not as important to me. But in that process, you're going to take some L's. Like, people are not going to be patient enough.
Right. And that's just, I guess, the name of the game. I don't know if there's
people
like
missing out on their blessings, but it's whatever.
Okay, well, can you tell us what you're looking for in a woman or a wife?
Man, I don't. That's a good question. I
feel like you have really strong perspective on this now. No,
I do. and based off of the guys that I've talked to, I think when you know, right? And I think it's hard to articulate, but like I think when you have those things there, you sense it and it makes sense, and it can look a little bit different with each person, and that doesn't mean that like if you don't know you won't know, but when you know, and I think for me it's hard to articulate because like I can't like explain it, but I will try my best. I think I want someone that I'm very, very attracted to, like physically. And I know that goes away in time, but I think like...
Or it changes.
It changes. Yeah, that's a better way to put it. It changes over time. But I think every guy, and I don't have proof for this. You know how... I'll ask you this question. You know how like you can date a guy, you've deemed that you kind of like him already, and so like you're not worried about his looks no more. Like you passed the threshold of looks, and it's about how he treats you and stuff. On the contrary, I think every guy in his head, has his partner ingrained in his head how she looked like when she was in her prime. So it doesn't matter that she's old and wrinkly or whatever, she's had kids, body's changed. That's that picture's always in his head. And I need that picture to be banging. Yeah. I think, and I know I'm more super, like I'm bad about it, but like, and I can't be better. It's just who I am. But I know that it's not all that matters, right? And so I need someone that's going to be smart, that's going to be independent, that wants to run the show. Like I prefer a woman that's like type A and like wants to do things a certain way and is a function of me just executing, right? And then I need someone that's like super selfless in the sense that like I have a sense about that person to my core that I know that like they will put me above everything else, or and I say me, like I'm not worried about the children. I'm talking about me, like me above everything else. And I know that dynamic changes a little bit when you have kids, but like the similarity between those two is that like she's after all of that, and every woman is not like that, because I know I do the same. And for me, because of my background and upbringing, I'm highly sensitive to that. And so those are probably the key things. I couldn't be with someone that like I walk over, or that doesn't challenge me, or that I feel like I'm just like super, like just extremely smarter than them. It just wouldn't, because that intelligence is also attractive, right? To me, that someone that says, "Hey, I want to do X, Y, Z," figures out a way to do it and executes, is attracted to me. I always said I wanted to see someone like in their space. Like I always, like, let's say my girlfriend was a dancer. I would want to watch her when she's in the zone doing her stuff. Because seeing that is attractive, right? Someone that has like drive and ambition in that way to like really go out, and those things are like super attractive to me, that go beyond looks. And so those are the things that I think are primarily important. But I'm not looking for perfection.
Yeah, well, that's important because I don't think perfection exists. But doesn't. I do think that I can't remember where this came from. I feel like it like was revealed when one of my grandfathers was like in a nursing home. He since passed away, but I feel like he was like referring to my grandmother as her younger self. And it was just so fascinating that is the picture that he had, and he had Alzheimer's. So his memory wasn't all there, but like that is the image. And I was like, wow, this is like crazy that this 80-plus-year-old man is just like horny for my 20-something-year-old grandmother. Like, what? Like, it was really fascinating, and it's been reinforced in some other ways.
Yeah.
But I do believe that is a thing.
Yeah, I just kind of said it as I was thinking about it now. I've never really thought about it, but I think that's why I go so hard for it. And I don't have any proof. Maybe I start asking the guys as I move forward. But I definitely the reason why I say it is because I think I'm practical. Like I know like my wife's body's gonna change. She has kids. Like aging is a thing. I know all these things that matter. So like, all the guys that are trying to get these perfect women now, like she's gonna change in some manner.
Yeah.
And so like, why are we tripping so much if we know that what we have now is not going to be what we have in 50 years? However, I think that men hold on to that image, and then what supports that image is all the other things that she does or means to him, right? Those are things that hold that image up.
Yes. I agree. It's reinforced by the actions, reinforced by the journey and the life, and etc. So yeah, I agree. I think the other point around I can't remember exactly what she said, but basically her preferring you over children or something like that. What was it? What was the point around
her to put me first? Kids? I want my wife to be able to put me first, and I know that might change a little bit when we have kids, but like.
Put you first in what ways?
Like in every way. Like we picked each other. I didn't pick whoever comes out. Like I picked. And so I get that, like, when you have kids, and I'm speaking from a perspective that I know will change when I have kids, but I tell people today, and I hope that I maintain this, mindset. I want my kids to know that I love my wife more than them. Like, I want them to know, like, listen, y'all little boogers, 18 years y'all gonna be gone. I'm still be with her because I picked her. I ain't pick y'all. I love y'all. And so I want them to know, like, my love for my wife is like, even if I gotta hype it up, because, like, I think there's something to be said about your own blood and your own child, right? That just naturally happens. So even if I have to hype it up to accommodate for that difference, I want them to know, like, listen, if it comes between us and her, y'all know who I'm picking. Don't take it personal. And I want to be in love, like, not like from a feeling standpoint. I just want to, like, care about that person so much where that's real. Like, I'm honest about it,
Yeah.
And I don't think everybody feels that strongly. I want to be in a position where I feel strongly about that person. Not that it's going to be an everyday, all the time. But at the end of the day, this is my rider. I'm riding for her. She's riding for me. And y'all can kick rock, because I know y'all gonna bump me to the curb once y'all 19.
Yeah, that's another another thing that I think is really interesting that I would love to discuss in the future. But it's like a thing, like a false scenario that if you have to choose your wife or your kids, like, you should choose your wife. Like, that's like a school of thought that a lot of people have.
Biologically, it makes sense. You can make more children, but
yeah.
And I would imagine, like, I would hate, like, I can imagine how much it would suck. Like, just given my limited experience, right? I haven't been married. I haven't been in anything like longer than 3 years or 2 years, But knowing how I felt in the moment and how strongly connected I was, I would hate. And my friend said this. He said on the podcast, he said, if someone shot at us, I would jump in front of the bullet, save my wife. And he's like, I don't know that I would do it to save her life. I just don't know if I would want to live without her. Like, that would be more difficult. And I feel that. Like, I feel like the worst thing that could happen if I were to get married and be with someone for like 40 years is have that person, like, pass away. Like, I can imagine, like, even just being, like, in my little shit that I've done, I can imagine, like, that amplified what kind of void that's why you see, like, people that are old and married, like, one person dies and the other person dies, like, shortly after, because, like, what do I got left? Like, you've taken my heart. And that's gone. Like, that void, I can only imagine how, like, painful that is. Someone died, like, let's say natural causes or whatever, and then you're just stuck. Like, this person has known you for umpteen years, and you do everything, especially at that age, y'all doing everything together. That's pretty much your only friend. It's like, I lose that? Man, I hate to leave it right there, but that's a wrap for episode 5. I hope you tune in for the next episode, episode 6 of our 10-part bonus miniseries that just dropped, where we'll talk about vulnerability and the importance of listening. We'll also talk about conditions for men, black men, and how they compartmentalize to survive. We'll go deep to talk about honesty and the difference between omission and the truth. And we'll also discuss the importance of asking the right questions. Like always, I want to thank you for your time. I want to thank you for listening, and I want to thank you for your support. Be sure to subscribe to the podcast at I Think I Love My Wife on all major platforms, and follow us on Instagram at ThinkLoveWife, where you'll get updates and snippets from all episodes. Be sure to tell a friend and have your friend tell another friend. We hope that we can continue this momentum and keep the podcast and our community growing. And until then, I hope the conversation keeps going.